I was walking into the forest with my grandmother one morning. It was so beautiful and peaceful. I was only 4 years old, a tiny little one, and I saw something very strange, a straight line across the road. I was so curious that I went over to it. I just wanted to touch it. Then my grandmother screamed, so loud, I remember it so strongly. It was a huge snake. That was the first moment in my life that I really felt fear. But I had no idea what I should be afraid of. Actually, it was my grandmother's voice that frightened me. And then the snake slithered away, fast. It's incredible how fear is built into you by your parents and others surrounding you. You're so innocent in the beginning. You don't know. I come from a dark place. Post-war Yugoslavia, the mid-40s to the mid-70s. A communist dictatorship, Marshal Tito in charge. Perpetual shortages of everything, drabness everywhere. There is something about communism and socialism. It's a kind of aesthetic based on pure ugliness. The Belgrade of my childhood didn't even have the monumentalism of the Red Square in Moscow. Everything was somehow second-hand, as though the leaders had looked through the lens of someone else's communism and built something less good and less functional and more fucked up. I always remember the communal spaces. They would be painted this dirty green color, and there were these naked bulbs that gave off a grey light that kind of shadowed the eyes. The combination of the light and the color of the walls made everyone's skin yellowish-greenish, like they were all liver sick. Whatever you did, there would be a feeling of oppression and a little bit of depression. Whole families lived in these massive, ugly apartment blocks. Young people could never get an apartment for themselves, so every flat would contain several generations. The grandmother and the grandfather, the newlywed couple, and then their children. It created unavoidable complications, all these families jammed together into very small places. The young couples had to go to the park or to the cinema to have sex and forget about ever trying to buy anything new or nice. A joke for communist times. A guy retires, and for having been such an exceptional worker, he is awarded, instead of a watch, a new car. And they tell him at the office he's very lucky. He'll get his car on such and such a date, in 20 years from now. Morning or afternoon, the guy asks. What do you care? The official asks him. I have the plumber coming the same day, the guy says.